Alright, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Season 1 for Battlefield 2042 is being delayed until early summer, and this isn't a joke. I'm dead serious here. So they just released a blog post detailing what we can expect in upcoming updates, and one of those points was that the release date for the first season is pushed back to early summer. And I don't even know what to say at this point. The amount of mismanagement that seems to have happened with Battlefield 2042 is incredible, and we're really starting to see the shortcomings of live service games, well, at least in regards to AAA developers such as DICE, or at least what they used to be. So they released an unfinished, broken, buggy game, and then have to spend a large amount of time fixing and making that game actually playable before delivering on content that was promised to the player base to be released in the first year following launch. And why do I say the first year following launch? Because in their own words, if you buy the Ultimate or Gold Edition of the game, you get a year one pass. So that has 4 new specialists, 1 per season, 4 battle passes, 1 per season, and 3 epic skin bundles. So that is literally supposed to come out all in the first year, and now we have to wait more than 6 months to even see the first content drop for Battlefield 2042, because all this time that they could have been spending on making new content is now spent on adding, in my opinion, core features that should have been in the game at launch, such as a scoreboard and VoIP, and also a lot of the time is being spent fixing numerous bugs with the game. It's really disappointing, honestly. I'm not even angry, it's just disappointing to see that they're releasing games that are unfinished. They know they're unfinished. Like, there's no amount of PR that could make me think that the devs and management did not know or thought that Battlefield 2042 was finished. Like, there's no way in hell any sane individual would look at Battlefield 2042 at launch and say this game is ready and fully polished to be released. If the game had actually released with a lot of content, I don't think players would have the same discourse as they're having now, because there'd be a lot more to do. But if you're playing all-out warfare, so really the base Battlefield experience in 2042, that is, you're looking at 7 maps, 7 mediocre maps even, a lackluster selection of 22 weapons, which is starting to run pretty thin, if I'm being completely honest here. With all this negative news, there is a little bit of positive in the blog post that they released on the Battlefield website. I'll link in the description down below. I'm not reading the entire thing. You can go and do it for yourselves, but they're committed to pushing up the quality of the game, both through updates and how rapidly they will respond to critical issues in the live environment. And they're also talking about better feedback loops to involve the players more directly. And from now until Season 1 launches, they're going to be working on key focus areas such as map design. So they say we want to outline to you our vision for how we're going to approach and factor in our new map enhancements to the gameplay experience by addressing feedback on openness and lack of cover in key areas. So that is at least one positive thing of this blog post, is they're working on map design to make it better, hopefully for infantry, because infantry is really suffering in Battlefield 2042 right now. Maps are way too open, there's not a whole lot of cover, vehicles dominate, and the same thing can be said for snipers. So snipers are really happy in Battlefield 2042. There's lots of long sight ranges, giving you plenty of opportunities to blow people's heads off. But so yeah, big topics like map design, they're going to be shared loud and broadly according to them. But from what I'm taking in this blog post is saying that there will be more communication with the player base about what's happening, talking about what we can look forward to in terms of map redesign, gameplay experience enhancements, and changes to the core gameplay of Battlefield 2042. Now, I'm taking all this with a grain of salt. We've heard a similar discourse 100 times already. Like, oh, we're gonna get better at talking with players, we're gonna get better at taking in their feedback. So if they actually do it, great, but I'm still in the realm of I'm gonna wait and see if they actually keep their word and are committed to Battlefield 2042. Now, just as a little side note here, so for people who purchase the Gold or Ultimate Edition, seeing as the Year 1 pass in its entirety is being pushed back, we're getting an exclusive bundle containing a specialist skin, weapon and vehicle skins, a melee weapon, and player card, which will all be delivered in the next update. From what I've taken from this post, will be in March, as opposed to mid to late February from what they said. It will be in March, so that will include the scoreboard that they are changing somewhat from the initial mock-up they showed us a couple of weeks back. But yeah, that's what I have for you guys today for Battlefield 2042 news. Some pretty disappointing news to say the least. Really starting to see the shortcomings of live service games in the AAA industry. It's released something that's MVP and not in a good way, so the minimum viable product is what MVP stands for here, and then fix it along the way. But I think that's a really poor way of thinking and executing games, in my honest opinion. And really what they should have done, if they were that hurting for money, just release the game in early access, charge less for it, but at least then people know what they're getting into when they purchase an early access title. They're expecting bugs, they're expecting little content to be dropped in the near future, while said bugs and issues are being worked on throughout the cycle of the game's development. But that's just my thinking here. I think they need to reassess what they want their plans to be for all of their major game releases, because this ain't it. Having to wait over 6 months for new content when the game had so little content to begin with, and all that time is spent working on bugs and improving the core gameplay experience because they missed the ball deeply with that one, even after having piles and piles of feedback following the beta. But anyways, that'll do it for today's video. I'm gonna stop rambling here. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. It's pretty disappointing news for the most part. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.